On the 15th of August, I participated in my second prac for the year, wheelchair basketball. The prac was held at the Mirrabooka Leisure Centre, where two wheelchair basketball teams come together to train to compete against other teams. During the prac, we were given a brief introduction by Natalie, and then we were able to get in a wheelchair each and have a practice run on seeing what it is like to move around in the chairs. The chair was quite different to the one we had used in the lab at uni, as it had been adapted for the purpose of sport, which meant much thinner wheels that came in at an angle to allow for flexible and rapid movement. We then had a few games of British Bulldogs and then broke into teams so that we could play basketball. We played a couple of matches each in smaller teams, which then led to conclude our session. Natalie then asked us all to sit down so that we could ask questions about her occupational roles, hopes for the future, and what life is like using a wheelchair. Upon arriving to the centre, I was more excited than nervous. It's not often that you get a chance to participate in wheelchair sports. I thought it would be good fun and somewhat of a challenge. When I first got into the chair, I was surprised at how hard it was to do such simple moves such as spin or even move in a straight line. When the ball was factored into it, it only became harder, as we had to use one hand to direct the chair and one hand to bounce the ball. I did not expect that it would be this difficult. Question time at the end was extremely thought-provoking for me, as I gained a greater understanding of what life is like for people who rely on wheelchairs. A lot of things that I take for granted, such as access to public transport or even the ability to not think twice before getting in my car and leaving the house. Overall, I thought this prac was a very positive experience. It was good fun, and I was able to challenge my previous perceptions on what life is like for people that use wheelchairs. The only negative part was not being able to participate in basketball as much as I would have liked to, only because we had such a short amount of time. Having said this, just being in the chair and seeing what it's like to move around was a great experience. The main lesson I have gained from this prac was to have a more positive perspective of the experiences of people who use wheelchairs. The wheelchair is merely an accessory to a person and actually has many benefits in someone's life. It may open up occupational opportunities that were not there before. Of course, everyone's experience is different, so what I intend to do in my occupational therapy studies is listen and to have an open mind to people's experience and to mainly avoid generalisations. I think I could have definitely gotten more involved in the prac, such as asking more questions about Natalie's personal experience, but also not being shy about getting more involved in the activities set up and actually taking the initiative during interactive parts. If I got this opportunity again, I would definitely get more involved in the experience, as it's not something you get to do every day. I would also like to participate more in question time to further develop my interviewing skills and also my knowledge. To do this, I could come with questions prepared so that I do not have to be nervous about stepping up on the day. Watching Natalie and seeing how skillful and talented she was has really inspired me and made me proud of my studies that I've undertaken. I hope to better society one small bit at a time by making challenging activities more accessible for people who rely on wheelchairs.